Hey you all, so I'm just now leaving my new job. I'm so excited. This is the first day that I was actually on location, and I went to just go pick up all the things as you just saw. But yeah, it's raining, so I'm gonna get off video and check back in with you guys when I get home. But this company seems amazing. The job seems amazing. Like, I haven't even started it yet. I'm very new. I will, go ahead and say that. But I am so excited for this new opportunity, and I just can't wait to share it with y'all. So I will check back in with you guys soon. Hey y'all, so as you just saw, I was packing equipment into my car because I am working from home. I posted on social media that I was leaving Bedside Nursing for good, prayerfully. But yeah, so it's kind of like, okay, so you're leaving, now what, right? And I'm still working in healthcare, but I will be working from home, which I am so excited about. So you saw me pack up my equipment and you saw me kind of set up my home office. And yeah, today is like my first day at home because yesterday I was in the office getting all the things. And my first 2 days I was orienting with like the overarching company, and now I'm orienting with like the specific branch of the company that I'm going to be working with. So I'm just very excited. It's been a great experience thus far. Onboarding has been great. The morale of the people at the company is like incomparable, which I'm sure if you are a nurse, you know that makes a world of difference. Honestly, if you work in any field, it's like sometimes it's not the work, but it's the people that you work with that can really make or break a job situation. And so, yeah, I'm just excited, y'all. And I wanted to talk about this because I know that when I first started doing YouTube, I posted a lot of nursing content because that was just what I was into at the time. And so I know that a lot of people who follow me or who did at the beginning are probably nurses as well. Let me know, like, what is your career and how did you start following me? Like, is it because of the nursing stuff or now the Bible studies, like whatever it may be? So, yeah, I started with the nursing content and just a little bit of a backstory, just in case this is your first video that you've watched. I've been a nurse for almost 6 years. I have a background in ICU, specifically the neuro ICU, and that is all that I have ever done since I graduated from nursing school and passed boards, which has been very interesting, and it's where I'm comfortable. And yeah, I did have kind of like, I don't know, my first job, like when I first started, I really liked it at first. And I feel like this is how like most experiences are. I really liked it. I was super excited. I was going to go out in the world and make a difference. And there were a few things that I was like, I don't know if we necessarily addressed this in nursing school or how frequent this would happen or these challenges that I would be faced with. But in any career, you're going to face challenges. So I was okay with that. But what I did love about nursing was that there were so many different things that you could do. Now, there is a lot of pressure when you first graduate school to just immediately go into an acute care setting and do some type of bedside nursing because there's this idea like, I'm going to build these skills and I need to build them up and I need to retain them, and this is the best place to do it. Now things are changing so much. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I did have this one track mind where I was like, I'm going to be a nurse for a year. I'm going to go back to school and become a nurse practitioner. Obviously, 6 years later, that's no longer my life goals for myself. But yeah, and looking back, I have always had a passion for wanting to help people, but I think a lot of the desire to be a nurse was kind of from like Well, I think my family saw in me that I did have a passion for helping people, but there were only so many careers that were just like, this is probably attainable and there's great job stability in this. And I grew up in a low income family. My mom worked almost 7 days a week sometimes. She was a single mom and she worked hard, and she was just kind of like, I don't want this same life for you. And so you need to pursue your education so that you can avoid having to work this hard. And so I thank God for that, honestly, because I wouldn't be where I am today with the resources and experiences that I have. So I do thank her for that, but I do, like, in hindsight, kind of look back like, I wonder if I would have like explored different options. I don't know, but I feel like God always brings things full circle anyway. So anywho, I was an ICU nurse for years. I worked a staff job for 1.5 years. As soon as I got that 18 months, because I was having issues at the job, there was a lot of lateral workplace violence, which you can look up on my channel. I talk about nurse bullying and sharing experience there. But yeah, it's like nursing, unfortunately, there's a lot of politics. There can be a lot of clickiness. It depends on where you are. So yeah, that's kind of what happened in my first job. If you want to know the details, go watch, because it's a crazy story. But after that experience, I was like, Lord, I'm ready to get up out of this specific hospital. And I started looking into travel nursing. I travel nursed for a few years, and it was great. And I learned my lesson about getting involved in the politics. And the good thing about travel nursing is you're only at a place for 3 months unless you decide to stay longer. And so I was like, I never got involved in politics, and I never went to work and was like, let me tell you all about my life, and I want to hear all about yours. And no, it was like, I'm very pleasant and nice and friendly. And that's just the demeanor that I have, and I'm going to be helpful, and I'm going to be a team player, but like, I'm here to work, and I'm not getting involved in any of that because I learned my lesson. And so travel nursing for me was great. I never had a bad experience again. But while I was travel nursing, I started doing this Bible study online, and I started leading these women over Zoom, and it was an amazing experience, and I loved pouring into them. And I realized, oh my gosh, I feel a passion and a fire for this unlike anything that I have ever felt before. And I'm sure you all know, like, if you have found your thing, like, that's just what it feels like. It just doesn't even feel like work. Like, I don't know, like, I just was like, I can't wait. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And how can I merge the two, or how can I make this work? I don't know. And so I started looking up schools, seminary schools, because I was like, I'm leading these women online, but I low key don't all the way know everything. Like, people would have questions about certain things. I'm like, I need to look that up. And it's not that I will ever know everything that there is to know about God. Like, God is omnipotent, like, so many, like, just unknowable, right? And oh my gosh, can't wait to get to heaven. But I did feel like I needed to be more responsible and accountable with my audience and learn more. And I just wanted to know more for myself, because I just had this thirst and hunger for knowing the Lord. And so then I started looking into seminary schools, found one that I really liked in Dallas, and moved here. And while I was back at home, I was on like a month break from travel nursing, because I just wanted to take some time off before I started school, which I did that often, which was the greatest thing about travel nursing. You could just take time off and like not even suffer. But anyways, so I was looking for hospitals to work at, and I had like been a part of these like travel nurse groups. And so I looked up this hospital, and it seemed to have great reviews, and so that's where I went to work. So literally just like interviewed over the phone, and as soon as I moved to Dallas, like the next day I was starting orientation. And honestly, my experience at that hospital was good. Like, it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't a stressful work environment. Everybody was nice. My manager was bomb, like the bomb. And I was only working PRN. So I was working as needed, and I had like this seasonal contract thing. So it was like really, really good money. And I was working 2 days a week. So they gave me all the other time to just focus on school, which was what I needed. It was great. And so, yeah, I had a really good experience. But as you all know, like, there are just things about working bedside that, like, you can't avoid, even if you work with like great, amazing people. Like, I would love to hear some of your all's experiences, but I have experienced some crazy things. Like, I wonder if anyone has stories crazier than me. But yeah, like certain things, like while I was travel nursing, there was an employee who went home and threatened to come back and kill us. And so, yeah, they had to deactivate this employee's badge. They came up to our unit and showed us like where panic buttons were and where to run and hide and all this stuff. And I was like, this is a lot. First of all, I'm glad my contract is about to be up and I am not extending. Like, it was just a lot. So things like that, things like just super combative patients. I've had an experience with a patient before where they tried to harm me, and the police officers were like, hey, we want you to press charges. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot. I understand that this person is not in their right mind all the way, and it can just be stressful, y'all. It can be emotionally and physically stressful. And then I think I got used to, this sounds so bad, but if you are in a critical area, if you're like in ER or ICU or NICU, like, unfortunately you see death a lot, and you almost like, it becomes something that you're accustomed to, which sounds crazy, but yeah, I was kind of accustomed to it. But then during COVID, it was like so much death. Like, I've never seen so much death. And in my area, like in neuro, like, you know, stroke patients, you can see death coming, you have time, patients' families can make decisions. But like with COVID, it was like no time. Like, somebody would be talking one day and gone the next. Like, it just was no way to emotionally prepare yourself for enduring something like that. So that was very, like, it was a lot during that time. So yeah, but I don't want to dump too much about the bad things, because there were so many good things. You know, being an advocate for your patients, being able to look at them and tell, okay, they don't know exactly what the doctor is saying. Let me step in and help them, but still give them dignity at the same time, so that I can make sure that they understand this information. The same for families, being able to care for families, because you are caring for the patient and the family as a nurse. Yeah, it was a great experience. I feel like I was making a difference. I was able to change people's day simply by just coming in and not being the burnt out one, being the happy one. And just, I don't know, like, I've had people say, like, you are an angel. Like, somebody just nominated me for a Daisy Award at my last job. And so there are some experiences and seeing things that you're just like, this is a miracle that you're walking out of here, or that you're making it out of here, when everyone thought that you weren't. Like, being able to see that, being able to pray for people, being able to just provide care for people in some of the hardest times of their lives, and like trying to alleviate any amount of stress that you can, trying to make it a good experience, even if it's someone's last experience or a family member's last moments with said patient, and just trying to make that as good of a memory as you possibly can, because you can definitely make things worse, but you want to try to make it better for them, as better as you can. And so I just take pride in being able to do that for people, and I think it was very honorable and it was awesome. But yeah, it's just, for a while I've been wanting to just explore and do something different, and I think that's okay. Like I said, nursing is just it's not one track. And so I've wanted to do something different. And then when I got pregnant, I was definitely like, I want to do something different. I was at work, and I had a confused, combative person, and you know, they can't help it. They're confused, right? But I'm like, if somebody kicks me in my stomach while I'm here, or, you know, you're just put in these environments where they are high risk and high stress, and you never know when they're going to turn and things like that. And so I was like, I'm about to leave. And so I started just applying for all these jobs. Pretty much, it's been a while. It might have been even toward the beginning of my pregnancy. So for months, I was applying for jobs and getting rejection. And my husband is great. he was like, you need to be more intentional, because I told him I was applying for jobs, but I was like, I kind of had this air like, well, whatever happens, because I'm okay with my job. And he was like, you need to be intentional and you need to pray about this. And so I started praying about it, and we prayed about it together, and I still kept getting rejections. And then I had joined this group online, and even before we started praying about it, I had joined this group. And so I had seen something where they were like, maybe not apply for the nationwide companies, but apply for something like a more local company. And so that's what I did. And they were like, even if the job doesn't say remote, if it seems like a remote position, go ahead and apply. That's what I did, y'all. On a Tuesday night, I applied for a job. Wednesday morning, a recruiter called me, and she was like, can we set you up for an interview? And I interviewed on that Friday. That same Friday morning, I interviewed with a team of multiple people, which I've never had an interview like that before. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so many people. But I mean, I think I did okay. And then a few hours later, before noon, my recruiter called me and was like, hey, they want to offer you this position. This is when it starts. 2 weeks later, I was supposed to start. So I put my 2 weeks notice in at my job. And I was just so excited. I was nervous at first. And this is how God works, y'all. I just feel like it's just beautiful to look back and see the Lord's hand all over something. Because when I was in the interview, I was very honest. And I was like, maybe they're going to think I'm too busy, because it's a full-time position. So I went from PRN to full-time. And I was telling them that I'm in a master's program. I was telling them that I serve at the church often. And so they were like, how are you going to fit all this into? And I'm like, they're going to think I'm too busy. They're going to think that I can't juggle all this. But I am the type of person that if I have too much idle time, like idle time is my enemy. Okay, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but when my schedule is full, I'm more productive, because I'm like, okay, you got so many hours a day to do this and to get this done, so you got to do it within this time frame. But if I have like all day, like a free day, I'll just like blow things off and I'll get it done. And so I think this will be a lot better for me. And another moment of truth and honesty and transparency, like I used to read the Bible so much before I got to seminary, because I was just had this thirst for the Lord's word, and I wanted to understand it. I wanted to know it, all the things. And then when I got here, it was more so like, okay, you're going to be reading the word to study it for these papers anyway. And when I tell you all, that is totally different. Like, you think just reading it is reading it, but reading it because you love the Lord and because you love his word is so different from reading it because you got to get these pages read for the next class, or you got to get these pages read for your paper. And I have fallen into that, and just not doing devotionals on my own. And immediately, as soon as I started this job, I was like, I will have time to do that, because literally today I woke up 30 minutes before I had to come in here. I had time to eat breakfast. I had time to drink coffee. I had all the time to just like sit down and relax, opposed to when I'm just like running to get out of the door, and you got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning for your 7 o'clock shift, and you're trying to make it to work on time, and you're fighting traffic and all the things. And so I just like run out without sitting down and spending time with the Lord. And I just felt like I was always in a rush. And then when I was off, I was just like, oh, I can do this, whatever, I have all day. So I think this will be better for me. And then also I think it will be better for my family. And so I don't know who this is for, but I think a lot of times we can feel like we're selfish. Like, oh, that job really needs me. They can use me. There's someone else that they can hire. It's fine. They will be fine. Leave on good accord, but they will be fine. And then also, like, do I want to make this shift that's better for me? Yes, it is perfectly okay to do that. And I realize that I think in this season of my life, this job will be better for me and my family. It will be better for me as a mother when I birth my baby. It will be better for my husband. It will be better for me as a student, as a friend, as a family member. I don't know. They just went on and on about the work-life balance, and my boss seems absolutely amazing. So I'm excited. So I've been on TikTok watching all the videos about work from home and the specific position that I'm doing, and I'm just excited. But yeah, it just feels like it's just so much less pressure, and I can get up and go to the bathroom when I want. This sounds crazy, but if you're a nurse, you know, you can get up and go to the bathroom when you want. You can go drink water when you want, opposed to shoving water down once or twice a shift. I don't know. I'm like, I will not miss the resounding call lights that I hear in my sleep. Like, I don't know. Because when I interviewed my boss, when I told the person that I had a background in ICU, they were like, I don't know, you might get bored. I'm like, no, I will be fine. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what life is about to be like. And I'm just excited to just see how I'm going to balance this, because I know that I am. I'm that type of person. I don't know, I'm just excited for all the things. And excited to bring a baby into the mix and see how I can make this work, which I definitely want to update you all on too, because there's a lot of stuff out about that as well. But yeah, I just wanted to update you guys and just give you some encouragement, especially to the people who are nurses. There's different roles out there. You can do anything. Pray about it. Let the Lord lead your way, and be intentional about it, and just keep him first. And I feel like, yeah, you'll be happy. Because honestly, it's crazy. When I was in that point where I was like, I don't know if I want to do bedside nursing again, like every next step that I took, like I feel like the Lord sustained my ability to be in bedside. Like with traveling and with moving here, I don't know, like I had a contentment where I wasn't as dissatisfied as I was with that first job. And so I feel like he can help us to become content in our waiting, and until something else happens, until something changes. Because even when I was applying for jobs, I was like, I'm cool until God opens the door, and then he did. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord. So yeah, I just wanted to update you all. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you do so, because I will be posting more and more Bible studies. We are reading the book of Exodus currently, and so we will be looking at Exodus chapter 4 soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see y'all next time. Bye.